everybody, and welcome back to the Adventures Audio Podcast. I am your host, Janelle Orsino, aka Enthusiast Adventurer, and this week is part 2 of the interview with the one and only Bobby Roast Beef from the Jigs and Bigs podcast. Bobby and I had a really great conversation, lasted about 3 hours, so of course I had to split that into parts for you guys. Last week we had episode 1, this week we have part 2, or episode 2 of that conversation for you guys. It was a super great time. Bobby, again, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I appreciate you, dude, so much, and I cannot wait to see you this Sunday in Massachusetts at the Expo. More on that in another episode, guys, but for now, enjoy episode 2 with Bobby Roast Beef. So, the dog got very excited that I just...
you're all done? Cool. So I've got that. Oh my God, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So I have all these things that are all together, but even this one thing that I can keep in one pocket, I've got my fob for my truck, right?
Yep.
Which is on a beaner, so I can take it off this loop if I need to, when I'm going valet or anything like that. I did take it right off. I keep my keys in a key safe inside here. And I have a USB key that has all of my documents, any important documents that I would basically need. I've got all of these stored,
Right.
So I've got them on me if need be. I try not to carry excessive keys. I try to streamline that as much as possible. And this because it's fucking awesome and it lets me bring my vape with me anywhere. I have another pocket right up front and it fits perfectly in. So I'll be oh yeah, I'm in Target. Let's burn a little jigglers in here. Let's see how this goes.
Right.
Yeah.
The keys I haven't gotten into because I have too many keys. But at the same time, I'm gay, and we have to have the carabiner, the lanyard, and 500 keys. It's part of the code. You signed a contract. Sorry, it just has to happen.
It's how it works.
So I can't have the little slim pull out. I wanted to when I was in high school. I had my wallet. It was my little wallet with my ID and some cash for gas, and then it was 2 keys for the car and for the house. That was all I used to rock. Life was good. Now it's everywhere I go. It's
a janitor everywhere you go.
I am like a janitor. But I got this. It was $16. So I did this on the budget because you don't have to break the bank. And that's what I get so mad at people that are oh, it has to be the highest quality of gear. No. So it's blue because my favorite color is blue. It's got a pen. And this pen I love because it's got a little flashlight on it.
Oh, double duty.
Some people think is stupid, but it's really not. I use this more than I use the flashlight. It's got a stylus on it. Soraya had 3 of these. They were free.
Yep.
This flashlight, I spent $4 on this little flashlight I got. Yep. Works fucking great. Works on a AAA battery. Gotta have the big lighter that I just dropped. Also, this electrical tape.
Yep.
Million uses. You can use it to start a fire. You can use it for first aid. I've got medication because anxiety and shit.
Yeah.
Chapstick.
That's
something that I was
for. Janelle, that's what for anxiety. That's why I use cannabis the way I do.
Tweezers? Do you have tweezers?
I don't have tweezers because I'm a Leatherman guy. I've got pliers. I've got little needle nose.
No, but these are actual tweezers, my guy.
Yeah.
But I get it. I'm a lady, so tampon.
There. Yep.
Sewing kit, dude. I use this little sewing kit that I make.
That's fucking awesome.
All the time, and then I've got some first aid stuff in there.
Yeah.
And then I've got my mom. So you're a Leatherman guy, and I appreciate Leatherman. The price point on a Leatherman right now,
fucking crazy. Yeah.
I can't. So this is a next tool, and it's got pull it out. Yeah. I've got the got those screwdriver attachments.
Yep. They're awesome.
But I got this. The main reason I got this is for this. These are scissors, and they're so big. Like they're industrial size scissors.
Yeah.
They're spring loaded, and they're so sharp. I love them to death. And then it's got your knife on it.
And
Like,
it's
good to go.
Awesome. You can get the scissors from the external. That's great.
Yeah. So I can have the knife and the scissors. It's got a saw on it it's okay. And
It'll
then
do the
spring-loaded
job.
pliers. Yeah. It'll do the job. It has everything that I wanted on it, and it was like $30.
Mhm.
So I have two of them because I thought I lost it. Then I found it, and then Soraya has the other one.
It's better
But
to
like,
have 2 is 1, 1 is none.
2 is 1 and 1 is none.
An A.
That's my guy right there. But putting that together like made me so fucking happy, and I use it every day. I have the carabiner on the outside, hair ties for the wife
Yep. Need them.
because I don't have to do anything here.
I hear that.
But I use it every fucking day, and like I wear cargo pants 90% of the time, the slim ones, and it fits in a pocket. I don't know it's there, but I have the security of it being there.
I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't think about this. What is it? Where is that? It's
Gotta
right.
find it.
I keep it in my backpack all the time because I built
Yep.
this bag not really for like the outdoors, because oftentimes like when I'm in the outdoors, I have access to a lot of the other like survival-y kind of things, or like need it type shit. But this bag I actually created for like more of like kind of like an everyday, like a work situation. Like if something were to occur while I was doing a job that I needed to. So let's go through that. This is
Please.
So it's not full, but this is my
Max Fit edition.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
And inside, so I have my Leatherman of choice is the Leatherman Wave Plus. It's same kind of finish as you've got. It's a black finish, and it's got the right kind of blades. It's got 2 blades. It's got a serrated blade. It's got a straight blade. It's got scissors, the pliers. The one thing that I really wanted to make sure that I had was like a micro screwdriver. Which, because I do a lot of like, I work on a lot of like small electronics that I might need to, open up a chassis, and there's little tiny micro screws in there or something like that. Real small shit. And it's also got the interchangeable bits. So in my setup, mine looks kind of like this. I'm trying not to spill it.
Oh, she's magical. Yeah.
Oh, she's a beauty. I know. My Leatherman bits. I have my first Leatherman that I ever had. This is we call it the Leatherman Rev, and it's really small and really light, and it's cheap. It's like $40.
Is that the one that has the saw, just a saw, a blade, and then pliers, and then like all the little extras?
I don't even think this has a saw. In fact, there's only one blade, and it's kind of a bitch. It is a straight blade, but it'll do the job.
Yeah, it's an old school Leatherman.
It is. This is a classic one, but it's got like, bottle opener, stuff like that. But I leave this in here as like a backup. If for some reason I don't have my Wave, I've got this that I can go to. I have a, this is pretty slick. This is the ratchet driver for my Leatherman, which is pretty fucking sweet. Kind of love that. And I've got what do you call it? A ferro rod in here.
Yep, have to.
As just a backup, I have some matches in here. I've got a lighter in here as well, because, different options for situations. That Mylar survival rescue blanket you were talking about, boom. Just in case you need it. I've got allergy pills because I have allergies like a bitch. And
allergy, sleeping, pain medicine.
I think everybody needs one of these, a Sawyer water filtration.
Yes.
This thing,
I have multiple.
Yeah, it's worth its weight in fucking gold. It is absolutely awesome.
It is.
And I even keep in here, it's not in here right now because I'm charging it, but I have a battery that I keep in here that's got a solar panel on it, so I can charge a device if I need to. Let's see.
Is it right here? My fishing backpack that my grandmother got me years ago has the solar panel on it, and I use it all the fucking time. I stitched this thing back together with braided fishing line a couple of weeks ago because it's falling apart. But it's like It's a great bank fishing backpack. It's got the 3 compartments, keep a couple trays, soft plastics, and then like my camera stuff, phone accessories, and then I just love it. Anyway,
that's awesome.
But I have the Sidekick.
Oh yeah, the Sidekick.
Yes, I got this years ago when it was only $30, and now it's $70.
Yeah.
It was a Christmas
Yeah.
present. Love it. So because I do a lot of whittling and stuff, I need a good little saw, like a
Yep.
saw, a knife, and then I wish it had scissors, but it doesn't.
Yep.
And then the good pliers. Everything else can still be used, but
Oh, for sure.
eventually I'll work my way up. But I'm happy to dabble with the off-brand
Fuck yeah.
multi-tools
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
for price, and also you can get good quality. And
Yeah.
but no, Leatherman makes a great product. But the EDC pad, like this is just again my everyday. When I have like the backpack set up, I'm gonna definitely give them Expedition the bigger opening.
Yeah, you do and that's exactly. Then you're covered. I told it was just what was it? It was this week. I told my youngest daughter, I was like, I would love it if you guys would use these. I would build for you. Some bags to put in there. And like my oldest is like, or my youngest, she goes, Dad, you mean like with like a Leatherman and stuff? And I was like, something like that. She's like, I can't have a knife in school. And I'm like, I know that, but like really what that means is you can't let anybody know you have a knife in school.
Yeah, I definitely in elementary school brought like a little Victorinox pocket knife like once or twice, and you're just like, ha ha ha. Like, dude, at work, I'm not allowed to have, like, we're not allowed to use a box cutter anymore. I work for like an Amazon. I'm like, fuck that. I bring my multi-tool and I use it when I need it. I'm like, phew. You know what I mean? As a mail carrier, I always had, it's like, shut up. Like,
yeah, it's like,
you need the tools that you need. Yeah. And I'm a woman and self-defense is a thing. God forbid. I had a guy yesterday curse me out. He lost his phone and he came up to our desk like freaking out and he was like, I need whatever. And I'm like, we are just the Amazon hub in the Whole Foods. You need to go to the desk. There's nobody at the desk. He comes over, he goes there, nobody's there. He turns around and he looks at me like dead in the face. He's pissed. He comes back over and he's like, again, talking over me, doing the typical like man thing.
Oh.
And he's like, can I just use your phone to call me? I need to track it. I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, first of all, the vibe that you're bringing right now, not cool. Like, not needed. Yeah. And second, he was like, I can't just use your phone. And I said, no. And he's like, well, then you too, bitch. And like, he got all big. And I was like, buddy, like, first of all, even if it's a scam, like whatever. And I'm like, you just said you have a sister and you immediately just called me a bitch. Like, and we're like ready to fight me. Like, whatever. And then, of course, for the rest of the shift, I literally have to watch my back. He was there for another hour.
Oh, really?
And I watched him leave. Yeah. But like, as a woman, you have to fucking cover your back everywhere you go. I don't care how butch you are, how masked you are, how feminine you are.
Yep.
My cousin almost got literally kidnapped from a CVS this year. She was going to get a prescription and somebody grabbed her right out as she exited the store. And luckily somebody saw it in their car. And they came out and they helped and, cops came and they got the guy. But, like, it was a guy and there was somebody else in the car waiting. That guy obviously got away.
Yep.
But it's like, we're just ingrained to have to be aware and prepared. And it's a different world to live in as a lady.
It's so challenging because, on the one hand, you want to sterilize the world for like your kids and everything and make sure like that. Oh yeah, they're never going to have to deal with this. But unfortunately, you don't have the ability to make that decision. You've got to live and you can only play the hand that you're dealt. You know what I mean? Like with, there's certain things that are just out of your control. And what was it? Was it this past summer? Or was it summer before, I think. My youngest she likes to go and take a walk and go up to like the local Walgreens or something like that. Like, it's tough when you're 13, 14 years old. It's like you only have so much shit that you can actually do in life.
Yep.
And my youngest has actually a real advantage versus most because her older sister is 6 years old. She's almost 20. So like she's able to get rides for stuff that she doesn't, all kinds of shit. And like I said, they're like best friends. So they hang out all the time. I guess there was one day like her and her friend had gone up to just the Walgreens or something, and they were walking on their way back, and they were getting followed by some creepy dude or something. So they were slick, and they split up, and they went different ways. My daughter had gone through like the cemetery nearby and had gotten home, and she was just like, she's like, it's really creepy. And I was like, listen, here's what I want you to do if that ever happens. Like, you go into like Dunkin' Donuts, whatever, like, because there's plenty of places where she can go in. I go, you go inside, you get on a phone. Or if you have your phone, I'm like, you make a phone call. I'm like, that's
immediately.
Yep. Let people know that you're there, and I'm like, this way you do something, because I'm like, people are fucking insane. And like,
people
Dude,
Nobody is safe. Well, no lady. No lady for the most part is safe. No man either, but like
Be
for us it's
surprised.
just
Yeah.
I would no, I'm not. I'm saying anybody, but
Yeah.
like it's crazy. And then a lot of people, like my mom, will be like, "Oh, they don't want me," and I'm like, "Mom, they don't care.
Never know.
No, they don't fucking care." Like it's scary. I almost got taken as a kid, and like you're taught not to talk to strangers. We
Yeah.
were walking down like a main road. It was like four of us, and then my friend's grandmother was pushing the stroller. Probably like 15 yards away. And this car pulls over. This guy, and he's like asking us for directions, and we immediately, yeah, and we're kids, and we immediately go over to the window.
Yep.
To be like, oh yeah, and then her grandmother was like, "Hey, who is that?" And he turned around, looked, and he just bolted off. And that's when the light bulb went off in our heads. And it was like, if I would have got a foot closer, I was gone forever. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. Let's talk about, you're a proud father of two daughters, correct?
Yep.
Let's talk about what it's like being a dad of girls, please. What's it like? Tell me.
So everybody that I know that has girls, I always say the same thing to them. I'm just like, when they're, like when Paul's daughters were born, I was like, "Hey man, welcome to the club." I'm like, because you're gonna go through some changes yourself and start seeing the world in a different kind of way through the eyes of them, and that's gonna change you for the better. And it's also gonna make you think a million terrible things about the world that we live in, and it's just true. It's just, it is what it is. Like when you have girls, you think about the way you act as a man way more than you ever used to have to pay attention to. It was a luxury to not have to think about, just open my mouth and say whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that like I'm not saying like I was perfect or anything like that. I've definitely opened my mouth and said some stupid shit. But like you think about the things that you're saying a little bit more when you're just like, holy shit. That I'm raising two young women, and it's a big deal. I'll tell you what, it has definitely softened the way I kind of look at the world a little bit, and that's not a bad thing. It really isn't. Like that. A lot of people might think that as a negative. It's really not. I think I've got a little bit more empathy than I did when I was in my early 20s. I think maybe just age does that too.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Yeah, it's a good thing. And it's just fathers of daughters they're just built differently, They
are.
Yeah.
They are. I give my dad the utmost respect. Just like hat off to you, man. Because he grew up with brothers who had sons. And it was like, here you go. Not that my dad, he's a good, he's a perfect blend of like man, but also sensitive and like he's got all of it going. He's not a hard ass
role. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. He's a good guy, and like him and my mother did a great job raising their kids. But like him with just any like he's just great. I just can't just get all fuzzy. I love that fucking guy. God damn it.
My youngest said to me this week, she was like, "I'm so glad I have a good dad." And I was like, holy shit. I immediately said to her, "What do you want? What is it that you want? What concert is it I'm getting tickets to?" I'm bringing her to see Metallica in August.
Yeah.
She's really, really excited. Really
That's awesome.
excited.
That's so sweet, though.
Yeah, she's going to love it.
I can't. Oh. So, okay, let's get into it. How are you when it's that time of the month? Are you like, can you talk about that? Can you say the word? Can you not say the word? My dad can't even hear the word.
Menstruation, periods.
Period.
It's common discussion in here. I will tell you, that is one of the ways where, and like my buddy Paul, his girls are much younger than mine. I am at the stage in my house where myself and Hudson, we are outnumbered. Because both my girls and my wife, they're all synced up, and everybody's just, it's a delicate situation. You know what I mean? And I feel like it's best to shut the fuck up and listen, spend more time listening than saying anything, and just be aware. That's when it's really nice to just kind of like, it's tough this time of year. I like to fish a lot that week.
Yeah. Yeah.
get out there as much as I can. It helps because there's just going to be fights, and I don't want to be a part of them.
Yeah, no.
You know,
I am grateful that I didn't have a sister growing up. I don't even know to relate, like, what that would even look like. Like, I have younger cousins that are female and older, but like living with, I'm grateful that I had a little brother.
Yeah.
But my dad, no, he can't, he hates the word. He immediately gets like, and I'm like, Dad.
I don't understand
like,
that. Yeah.
He goes, I never knew that was a thing. Like, my mother, I never knew to the day she died that was like, and I was like, okay, well, you did grow up in a different generation.
True.
But also, like, you had a daughter. The minute you knew that you were having a daughter, also you're married to a woman. Hello? Like, come on. Like,
yep.
I love him. I love him for it. But I remember we went to Florida. It was my first trip. My grandparents used to have a trailer. They would, they were snowbirds. So they would go to Florida for the winter. And this was like one of the first periods that I got. And like, he was just like, we were in Walmart and he was just like, go get what you need. I don't want to know. Like, just go get what you need. And like, you're fine. If he had to like get anything for me, he would lose
really?
it. I'm like,
oh my God.
Like,
Dude, I go buy pads and tampons for my wife. I have since before my kids had periods. I was going out and running because again, like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm like, whatever.
Part of our everyday. Like,
I don't understand how men get like. There are men who like somehow they think that's like a knock to their masculinity to go and like that. But if anything, I feel like you're showing that you're more masculine by doing these things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You are.
It's a little, I don't know. I always thought it was odd. And then, once both my girls were like, then the whole, like, I remember my wife, she wanted to have, what do they call it?
Period party?
A moon party? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I had one.
Yeah. She wanted it. She was like, oh, we should do this. And I'm like, really? And like, we're just not good at planning these types of things. And so, like, I don't think we ever did anything crazy like that, but like, it was kind of interesting because of the age gap between my two girls. Like, my youngest was just like, oh yeah, when that happens, I know exactly what I'm dealing with because my sister's been dealing with it now.
Yeah.
Long. So
yeah.
I
mean,
it's kind of crazy.
But when it comes to raising, like, me and Soraya, we want to have 3 kids. We would love to have a boy and a girl, and then whatever. We would love to actually have twins.
Yep.
Oh, I want twins so bad. But I'm just like, I have a decent idea of boys and young men, but I also don't. Yep. But at the same time, I'm not going to be ignorant to it. Like, I will. I'll do my research. I'll do my due diligence. I'll make a phone call. I don't fucking care. Like, I got to call in the troops. I'll call in the troops, regardless. Me and Soraya, we use different feminine products. I have them on a subscription on Amazon. They come every, month. We are stocked up, ready to go. I have them with me everywhere I go. I have one in my EDC. I have them in my glove box, in my car. I have them in the kayak. Like, even with my YouTube channel, I'm not afraid to talk about it. Oh, really? Oh,
I'm the one. You have no idea how many times I've brought her a pad to work.
Oh.
And I'm like, just take some and leave them in your desk.
I kept mine in my lunch bag in the fridge. Like, they were in my lunch in a Ziploc bag my lunch bag. Yeah,
that's
it's a little different.
Warm them up a little bit,
but hey, like they were there when I needed them.
Yeah.
And I grew up using like pads like the first year of my cycle, and I'm like, we're raising our daughters that way because you learn so much about that time. When you're just using that one fucking 2-inch thick piece of shit you got to deal with. Oh, and then you're in school and you're dealing with it. The emotions. I'm not a huge peanut butter person during the regular year, but when I'm PMSing to when I have my period, I want peanut butter cookies and like peanut butter snacks and all that shit. And then I'm like, get it away from me when it's over.
Giant jar like Winnie the Pooh. And it's like, oh, let me check the count. Okay.
No, Girl Scout cookies. We just ran into a Girl Scout troop, so I bought Thin Mints and the peanut butter cookies, and I think my wife has eaten 2 of the cookies. I mean, like the whole tray in the last like 3 days. For her, it's popcorn. Like, she'll just start like a whole big ass, like 2 bags of popcorn, and she starts eating it.
I'm going to tell you this much about when it comes to cycles and being a father. Like, if there's anything in life that I can look back now after these last handful of years and say, maybe I've made a mistake. It's maybe that I feel like these kids are just a little too comfortable sharing. A little bit too comfortable because they'll say things to me and they're just like, oh, such and such, blah, 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 blah. And I'll be like, that's fantastic. It's like all I can say because I'm like, I don't know what you want from me in this situation.
You have no idea.
You know, I'm like, holy crap. If there is one thing, it's that I have probably made it too comfortable of a situation where they're just,
right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're just going to talk about this now. And it's just.
My parents, they didn't. So, like, Soraya grew up with the Portuguese parents, very European, very open. They're all very open about sharing their shit. And I'm just like, okay. I didn't grow up with that. My mom, like, bought me the box of tampons, was like, read the instructions, here you go. And I was like, okay, like, that was, and my dad didn't talk about it. So, like, you learned through the internet, thankfully, and talking to people and, like, figuring out your own system and, like, your cycle. But the school system, fuck the school system. I didn't learn shit there. But it's funny, like, every person, female, has their cycle and has their thing. My dad would be like, it's that time, isn't it? Because me and my mom would start arguing, and he would immediately just be like, fuck. And he'd be like to my brother, it's coming. Like, you know it's coming. Everybody has their thing. I didn't really, like, I don't get into details about it, but it's like, it happens. It's an everyday. It happens. And for us, it's not just life. The week. Yeah. It's the week before. It's the week of. It's the week after. We have 7 days of the month where it's kind of normal, and then everything else, we're going through hormones. Yep. Yeah. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to. I get cranky. I do. The first couple days, I get a little cranky, and I'll say it. I'm like, it's Karen. We call it Karen. Like, it's fucking Karen. I can't help it. Just like, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I'm proud of you. That you can handle your shit.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's nothing. The things I have done in my life that I thought I would be, I would have been exposed to. I'm like, oh, all right. So I guess this is just the way it is.
Yeah, very lucky. Now, I have no experience. See, like, I was 17 when I came out, and I came out as bisexual because that year was very eye-opening. Still liked guys, but definitely was like this one fucking girl.
Exactly. Yep.
And that evolved into, like, okay, no, I'm definitely gay, but I dated whatever. But I never had to deal with, like, pregnancy scares. I've never had, sex with a guy. Like, I've never done any of that. I've kissed a guy, and that was about it. So it's like, okay, buckle up, Soraya. When our daughters start having more questions about that stuff, we need to have conversations, and then we all need to have conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, but I'm not blind to it. It's not like I don't have straight friends. It's not like I don't have, like, you know what I mean?
My oldest daughter's gay.
Oh,
yeah.
Yay. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Woo.
Yeah,
good for her. I didn't know that.
And it's which is kind of crazy because, like, I say it's crazy, but, like, we love it. Her girlfriend is amazing. Rachel's fantastic. In fact, it was last summer. I had said to my wife, I was like, look, I have this 1 week that we had put aside to go to the beach. We're going to go to Myrtle Beach. And I said, for me, I just have so much work lined up that week that I can turn it all down. Like, I can cancel these events that are on the schedule. There were, residency accounts and stuff, but my schedule was just humming. And I'm like, I'm taking a big loss to take this week. I go, why don't you guys? And I told her, I was like, take my credit card, go on vacation with the girls, have a good time, And she's like, you serious? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I was like, just make it a girls' night. It'll be awesome. It'll be a girls' week. It'll be great. They had such a good time, like such a good time. So my oldest they're talking about moving in. Her girlfriend currently has like an off-campus apartment, and he's going to actually move back home. There's like a in-law apartment set up down there.
Yeah.
Her house. They're just going to rent that space out and, like, do their thing. Like, good for you.
It's incredible. Cool. Hey, I can't preach it enough. Like, finding the right person. I'm very mad at my dad. I told my dad, he's not a speech guy. I said, for my wedding, you have to give a speech. He did not give a speech. 2 days later, he reads a speech to me and Soraya, and I almost cried. I was like, this is everything that I wanted you to say. Why couldn't you just say it in front of people? I was like, fuck, Dad, come on.
I'll bet you I know why. I'll bet you because he didn't want to read it and be vulnerable in that moment and look like, I get it.
My dad can't. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At my wedding, my best man was one of my best friends ever. The guy that I actually, when I lived it was his house that was on.
Okay. on
He
the
and I
way.
have memories that go like fucking decades back. Like it's ridiculous. His speech was like S tier level. It was so good. It was like a monologue on like the Tonight Show. He was
Oh,
on
killing
it.
it.
It's so good.
Yep.
It just roasted me just the right amount, but also like jumped on the grenade like when it really went off. Like there were, oh my God, he referenced cocaine and hookers and like,
Oh man.
and I was just like, dude, what are you doing? What are you
Yeah.
doing? And it was just fucking awesome. It was just,
That's great.
my dad still talks about that speech to this day. It's been 15 years.
Yeah. My cousin, he gave a really great speech. He was the best man for his brother, and he did such a good job. And I was like, one person. I just wanted one person to kill it, and my dad wouldn't say his shit, and that would have been like the moment. I didn't cry our whole wedding because I surprised Soraya by saying my vows in Portuguese. I can't fucking speak Portuguese very well.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So I was an anxious fucking wreck.
I'm
Like,
sure you were.
so I couldn't cry. There was no emotion other than like just nerves.
Yeah.
And I was practicing for weeks, and I finally I was like, Kat, her cousin, it's like, just come up here and then say it in my ear, and I'm gonna say it out loud because I had it recorded. I couldn't focus.
Yeah.
But I said them in Portuguese. She cried. Everybody who spoke Portuguese cried. I was like, nailed it. That was the goal. That was the fucking game
That's
plan.
awesome. That's what you want.
Yeah, but I was like, nothing else could prepare me. I was like, she was like, you're gonna cry when you see me, and I was like, yeah, okay, sure. I know I'm not because I'm just thinking of.
So
I was like, you're gonna cry.
I'm going to give you a little bit of I'm going to shed. I mentioned earlier that there was a story with Bobby Roast Beef and Queen Beef.
Please, yes.
This is the gist. All right. So we met in September of the year that we met. We started dating then, and I think it was I think we were actually Christmas shopping, and she told me that she was pregnant, which is pretty crazy. All right. So ramp up to like, okay, all of a sudden, boom. So this is happening, right? She freaked out. She was like, I don't know, like, I've only been dating this guy for like so long. I don't know if he's like the guy. What the hell? So we find out shortly, like within a month or two, that it's not just a baby, it's 3. We did not we lost 2 of them, right?
I'm sorry.
Chloe, our oldest, was born. Everything was great. By I think it was around Easter of that following year, she had broken up with me before Chloe was even born. We decided, she was like, yeah, I don't know if this is going to work. I was like, all right, but hey, if you're doing this, I'm not doing this back and forth kind of bullshit. I'm like, we're going to be co-parents. We're going to do this together, but that's it. Like, if I start dating somebody, I don't want any bullshit, and I'm going to stay out of your personal life. So you go ahead and it's all good. So fast forward a little bit, like I had been dating a woman who was completely different than my wife. She was actually, this girl she was born in Brooklyn, Jamaican family, was a master's student at a local college here and wanted to get into politics. And she was looking to move after graduate school to DC. At this point, my wife was engaged to some guy that she had like dated in high school or something like that, or like in college for a short time, who had 3 kids to 2 different women and had a great career, but his paycheck, he never saw it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah.
It was a mess. Now, things didn't work out as planned for them, and they split up, and my wife had moved back in with her parents with my daughter, and everything was good. At this point, the woman I was dating she had moved to DC, and I think the long distance lasted 3 weeks maximum.
Yeah.
Well, like, I was like, I'm going to try to make it down as often as I can. But I'm like, I have a lot of shit going on. And like, she wanted me to move to DC. I was like, I could do that. I'm like, but the problem is now I have to travel 7 hours to go and spend a weekend with my daughter. I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was only working in television at the time. Like I was making like $30K a year. You know what I mean? And I was like, this is not going to work. I had my wife and I ended up getting back together. We had a conversation. This is like after about a year or so of me just being single and her being single. I said, listen, I go, we've been co-parenting for a while. I think this works pretty good. We like each other. Let's go ahead and give this an actual shot. So we got married in 2009 is when we got married. My daughter was 4 at the time, and she was the flower girl in our wedding. And we got married from a local TV weatherman who I worked with from the station where I worked, because we just wanted to have like a shock value. Like we've already had a kid. Like we're looking at buying houses and shit like that. And like, it's like, what can we really shock people with? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get Brian Lapis to officiate the wedding. And he did it. He was awesome. He was a great guy. I love working with Brian. He was an awesome dude. And, I'm up there, and I'm at this is during the ceremony, and bridal party comes walking in. Holly comes walking in, looking beautiful. Comes over. We're standing there, and Brian's going through all this stuff, and then Holly left. She went to the bathroom to go vomit because the nerves apparently were just too much for her. So
dude, I thought, yeah.
I stood there and danced a jig for a little while because I was like, she'll be back. It'll be fine.
Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine.
This is how it is with her. She just puts me through the ringer emotionally and mentally. Constantly.
Yeah. That's love. I do that to Soraya. No, Soraya does that to me too. Yeah. So I know, because she literally the other day, like, what is this, day 4 of me thinking about it? She goes, what if I stay in the fire department for 4 more years? And like, we only do that, instead of like traveling for 6 months and quitting everything, we can like travel a month at a time, because that's how much time I have, 3 months every year. And then like, we'll still live out of the bus, but we'll still be here. And I'm like, we have been planning this trip for 8 months. Like, I was like, babe, but she's like, but I'll have a pension. And I was like, oh my God. So now I don't know, like, I know we're traveling, I just don't know, we haven't made a decision yet, and I'm just like, fuck, man, like, I just want to be free on the road, and I understand that if this would have happened when I was 21 or 22, I would have been free. Yeah. But now I'm 20-fucking-9, and, like, she loves the crew that she's with. The guys are absolutely incredible. Yeah. She loves the job. The idea of leaving it is terrifying. And also, she's the financial one. She's like, we need to have something ready. And it's only 4 years. And I'm like, but you're a fucking firefighter. It's not just 4 years of like a desk job.
It's 4 years. There's so much risk running into fucking burning buildings.
Yeah. And my biggest fear is that like some shit's really going to happen, and I'm either going to lose you or something like an injury. Like, and then what? But then I'm also like, but it's irresponsible to not have the fucking pension. And now I'm just like at this crossroads of like marinating in this.
You know what
do we do now?
It actually might not be the worst thing ever to ease into that 6-month jaunt, and do like the long week. Because what's her schedule like?
Once every 4 days. So she works 1, she's off 3.
Well, she works 1, she's off 3. So, like, you guys could do some stuff. Does she get some vacation time that she can take?
So she'll get, like, it's like 20 something amount of days. And then if she works that out right, she could be, and, like, swaps and stuff, she could, like, take a month, and we could travel full-time, like, for a month and, like, do, like, Maine and the North, whatever. And then come back here, live out of the bus while she's working for a little bit, and then be traveling, an hour or so away.
Yep.
I'm not saying no to it, because the more that I talk about it,
you're talking
like, okay, I'm talking myself into it, but then I'm also like, am I only talking myself into it because it's my wife and I can't say no to her? Or am I talking like, the battle between yourself of like, I don't want to resent you. Yeah. This also makes sense, but it's also like, I fucking said no to a cat, and now we have a cat.
Exactly. You want to hit that goal. So what I think, if you do it the right way, right, and you do this, because that's the thing. Let's take the bus and the trip out of the equation, right? Yeah. She'd still be a firefighter, right?
Yeah.
So the risk is the same. So we got to take that off the table.
Right.
You know what I mean? In terms of the trip, you could use this 4 years to really start to build and figure out your rig without being married to the idea of like a 6-month or like a every single state trip or something like that. Yeah. This way you get to kind of like tinker with your rig a little bit. Let's say something breaks down on you. Well, you're only in Maine or, the Carolinas or something like that. There's stuff that you can do to kind of make it work, until you get it back. Then when you get a little bit more dialed, you're like, okay, now let's go to Alaska. Let's do it this way. Cause I think she's a smart one.
Dude, she is a fucking smart one. And it makes me angry sometimes, man. Cause I just want to,
you just want to do it
so much. Yeah. It's the just wanting to do it.
Though here, I think it's the way to do it.
But I told her, I said, okay, 4 years is a good chunk of time to really give to content, podcast, do all that stuff. And I can still work part-time, or I can be free or whatever. I can pick up. Amazon's always going to friggin' hire. They pay good. And if I do like a couple months spurt there and save up all that money, what are we paying in rent? Because it's just insurance, gas, food. So I said, okay. I was like, well, one of the days that you're off, we're absolutely filming content for the YouTube channel. Like,
for sure.
I was like, we will be on a regimen. And I was like, I can see the regimen. And I'm so mad that I'm probably going to agree to this 4-year fucking plan just because she always throws curveballs at me. We'll have like a conversation, we'll plan, and 6 months will go by, and then she'll fucking throw something in there, and I have to adjust everything. And I know that's life. I know it's life. But I struggle with it a lot because it's like, I don't want to sacrifice what I want, what you want, but now we're married, and like, it's so many factors into it. It makes sense. And we're probably going to wind up doing it that way. It just hurts my heart just a little bit.
I think you kind of nailed something there that is amazing, is the fact that 4 years is a lot of time to put into the content creation side of things. But remember, during our conversation, we were talking about that. We were talking about funding your trip and stuff like that. And you're like, oh, well, there's stuff that I can do. Like the content side, before that starts generating money, that's going to take time. This is your time. This is really, if anything, this is a really fortunate situation for you, because now you can jump into it and build a little bit more. And then now it's an evolution of when you're going to get to this point. And you get the nice, the nice opportunity to go and try it before you buy it. Because really, like, you guys could move into your bus full time and live where you are. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that would be, in a lot of ways, that could just be that little boost that you need to kind of go to that next level.
Yeah, that's goddamn. Because we were planning on selling her truck because we're like, we can't tow it. And then she's like, how about we keep the truck, and then I can like follow you, and then you could be somewhere 2 hours away, and I can go to work in the truck and then come back. Like, she doesn't have a problem driving. I'm like, I'm not going to make you drive too far. Yeah. Or flying. But I'm like, also, if we keep the truck, then we can send it to Portugal when I need it. And that can also be an overland rig, which gives us so much more this and that. And then also we talked about John B. doing his Never Stop tour. Well, now for me, it's like, all right, well, let's do a main send. We're doing a month. And like, you know what I mean? I was like, it does open. It makes sense. Fucking God damn it. It makes sense. It's smart. It's so smart. It's so smart. Gives me a headache though. Yeah. Because it is like, originally it was like, okay, I want to go to California and back. It's going to be a month with my best friend. Okay, cool. Yep. 5 years later, that shit didn't fucking happen. And then, I met somebody. Okay, I'm going to give this whole thing up. And then we're going to revive it. It's just so many roller coasters.
Yeah. And that's difficult.
You have to adapt. If you can't fucking adapt, man, you're not going to survive. It's just sometimes, especially with like ADHD, when you change somebody's like train of thought, or like you change the plan, we can't fucking it just fucking throws a wreck into everything. And it takes us so long to get back on like the motivation train, the positive mindset, getting into work it takes a lot. For us to lose it takes about an hour. Like my sleep schedule is everywhere right now. I went to bed at 2 a.m. Like, I did not want to wake up this morning. I was like, I just want to sleep. But like, it's because I'm not on a regular regimented schedule. And then when I do get on that schedule, I'm cranking, man. I'm productive. Everything's going good, but it's not easy to throw me off. But I told her, I said, let me think about it. I was like, you need to give me all of your information. What are you really talking about right now? Because you're still leaving the fire department after those 4 years. Oh yeah. But I also feel terrible at the same sense, because I was like, you worked so hard for this. This was your dream job. Now we want to travel and give it up. And when she got the offer for the remote job, she just, in her heart of hearts, she couldn't take it. She denied it. Yeah. Because originally she was going to accept it when we were talking last. And I was just like, there's so much inside of her that sometimes she doesn't let out, which is fair, because I'm the same way. Like, if I know that something I'm going to say is going to hurt her, or like whatever, I have to really marinate in why I'm feeling what I'm feeling before I'm going to bring that to the table. So whenever she says, can we talk? I'm always like, and she's like, can you not make that face? And I'm like, baby, I'm like, babe, with your track record, I don't know what you're going to say. And I don't know what that's going to do for the next set of plans. But the 4-year plan makes so much sense. We'll be close, and she can still do what she wants to do, and I can do what I want to do. And I think it'll give me a more intimate idea of even if it's just an hour away, like my area, but also the vast difference of wilderness and the type of content I want to do, again, fluctuates all the time. I can chase the season or I can embrace whatever. And it's smart. And that's probably what we're going to wind up doing. But I haven't, I just, my dreams are really when it comes like to fruition is when I can really like marinate in it. And I'm just like, okay, I love you. It makes sense. And it's like financially, if we're going to have, whatever it is, 20K by the time you're 55, whatever the age is, I was like, that's money that we know we have. And that's smart. But fuck me. Like, but it's genius. Cause like this YouTube and podcast thing for me, it's not going to turn around tomorrow. I have just under 400 subscribers. It's going to take time. I do know that. So like being able to build on that and really giving it that amount of time.
Yeah.
It's smart, and I love her, but listen, my curveballs are very quick, and like I don't really give her time to think about it because I'm like, oh, we're doing this, blah 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 blah, and then we're just doing it. But for her, she just likes to really
they swing, they swing.
They swing, man.
I think, I think in the next 4 years, I think in that amount of time, you're going to have an amazing adventure because you can take and go, hey, so I'm going to take the bus and I'm going to go do this. And maybe she's got to work a shift in there. But after that's done, she can come out and meet you. And you've got the setup to be able to have multiple people living out of this, for however long it's got to be. I think this could be a really good thing for you guys. I really do. And I think it's actually a setup to put what could be an even more epic like setup. Yeah. Now it's not going to be like, we're going on this giant trip and we have no idea what we're in for. And instead it'll be like, so now I'm a little bit more prepared and we can plan things the right way and figure out what it is that we want to do, work out the kinks and all that stuff, especially with the rig. The rig is going to adapt.
And we're going to get to really know the rig. Things are going to break. Things are going to, and Yeah,
you're going to start fires making pizzas inside the rig, and it'll be you're going to learn. You're going to learn.
Yeah. All the seasons. You're going to learn today. And don't tell her this. I'm going to take this part out, but I'm probably going to wind up getting her fucking Rottweiler puppy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if we decide to do it the 4 years, she's getting her puppy. Because I told her like once we got our own place, she could get the dog. And then I was like, we can't do the bus thing. Like, we can't do full 6 months. But I was like, if we're going to take the time, I will happily train the dog. And that dog won't know anything else either. Like, that dog will be
a bus dog.
Yeah, and she deserves it, man. I was going to surprise her for the wedding, but we had already been talking about hitting the road. And I was like, we just can't.
Yeah.
We just can't.
But
so
now
I'm just
got
like,
the time to get
now I've got the time. So I got to fucking find
Rottweilers. Love Rottweiler.
She wants a Rottweiler and a German Shepherd. She wants, and I'm just like, okay. She wants like the self-defense, but she also just wants a big fluffy teddy bear. I think she's going with Hades for the Rottweiler, the pup, for the name.
Oh, that's an
Hades.
Name. Okay.
Yeah, and she wants Loki for the she's a Marvel fan. She's a villain Marvel fan. So yeah.
So circling back, way back around to like when we were first talking about the Eagles, Giants. How are you with dark comedy? How do you feel about dark comedy?
I'm okay with it.
You're okay?
But I also have my moments, but I can handle it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I grew up with an Italian family.
So there is a Patton Oswalt movie.
Oh boy.
That's called Big Fan, right? And in this, he plays a role of a guy who is like a diehard Giants fan, like paints his face blue and red and everything. And in this movie, like it's kind of it's dark comedy. He bumps into like another super fan who's an Eagles fan, played by Michael Rappaport, right?
Yeah, and
it is such a good film. I highly recommend it. Check it out. I think it came out like, what was it? Was it 1996? It came out? No,
I was 2 years old.
It was 2009. It was the year I got.
Okay, I was like, damn.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I grew up with sports in my life, and I understand the Eagles fans. I also hate it, but I also get it because I am one. I'm not the physical kind, but I am the like loud, emotional.
For sure.
we have heart. But here's the thing that pisses me off also. We never also get the credit we ever deserve.
Yeah.
Like the year we won the Super Bowl against Tom fucking Brady.
Yeah.
It's a fluke. It was his, last year, whatever. Even the announcers, when that Hail Mary was thrown and it hit the ground, the announcers were just like, oh,
fuck.
They didn't catch it. Tom didn't win. I guess the Eagles won their first Super Bowl. They were not we didn't get the credit we deserved for that year at all. And I was so into football that year. I watched every game. I watched Saturdays. I watched Sundays. If I was sitting in a certain spot of the house and we weren't doing well, I moved seats. I made wings every week. I was very about it. And it was amazing to see. My grandfather, who recently passed, he was a diehard Eagles fan. I'm so blessed that he got to see us win the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah.
But it is unfair because it's I understand that our fans have the fucking rep that we have.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, our team never gets the credit we deserve, ever. And it pisses me off a lot of the times. And sometimes I get very, very mad about it. I don't want to play like the victim.
No, wasn't it the Eagles fans, though, that booed Santa Claus?
Probably, because they're idiots. A lot of them are fucking idiots.
I love it.
We are. We're fucking morons. We are. And it's the city of brotherly love. Well, you have to earn it. And then as soon as you got to earn it, it's the way Philly is. And whatever. But also, go walk the streets of New York, too. Don't fucking,
Boston.
Go walk the streets of Boston. Oh my God, yeah. When we went to that game, I had to wear a Boston jersey. I was like, fuck. Troy was like, you have to. And I was like, fine. I will.
I don't know that these will show up in your For You page or something like that, but there is a couple of New England content creators that'll be there's this one woman I'm thinking specifically, and she has a picture, show off a video where she walks out of a cafe holding a cup of coffee. She's like, oh, I love autumn in Boston. It's beautiful. The weather, the air is crisp, pumpkin spice, everything. It's great. And she'll be like, hey, how you doing? In the background, you hear, hey, fuck you. And it's just if that isn't the most accurate, that's the thing about East Coasters. We're so alike, man. We're so alike.
I know we are. Also, I went to Catholic school for 3 years, and then I switched to public school. When you were explaining that, I was like, oh, shit, yeah. I did that for about a minute, and then I was like, I need out of this bitch.
I'm a dip.
I'm a dip. Oh, my God. I can't imagine coming out in
Catholic school?
In the 2000s in Catholic school. I couldn't imagine what that would have been like ever. But our fans... We're the same. We're cut from the same cloth. That's why. We're cut from the same cloth.
And that's why I feel like we're abrasive towards each other, because we're we kind of get one of I feel like, especially I've noticed this, that it was hard pre-Tom Brady. It was hard to be a Patriots fan. It was.
Yeah.
It was really, really challenging. You know what I mean? And pre-2004 World Series win, it was hard to be a Sox fan. It was. You wanted to be so dedicated to that team for some unknown reason, because it was just, it was tough,
And the funny thing is, I think we have so much heart, but also we know when we fuck up. And every South Philly, they have to have their fucking opinion. Everybody does. But as an Eagles fan, it's my dad just listens to Eagles radio, and I just want to kill him. I'm like, Dad, this is the same conversation all day long. How do you listen to this? But it's we know when we fuck up, and we're just what the better than to do this or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But the year we won the Super Bowl, and the problem with our team also is we don't hold down people for very long. Jason Kelce, if he's retiring, 13 years. Okay. But after we won the Super Bowl, half of our team went bye-bye. And then our coach went bye-bye because they took, he ran that fucking team. He had control and he did his job successfully. Yeah. And then they took all of his power away. And then the next season we fucking sucked. They took our, Jim Schwartz, fucking took our defensive coordinator. Everybody got taken, and now we're restarting again. We're rebuilding. I'm so sick of watching my teams rebuilding. The Flyers are always fucking rebuilding. The Phillies are rebuilding. Oh, God, can we just stick with some of the same fucking guys for more than 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why we're not successful. It's part of the reason. It hurts my heart. I could talk about it forever. Listen, you can think about what you want about me. I am an Eagles fan, though. So
I love it. No, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, that's the thing. You're an Eagles fan in South Jersey. That makes sense. I know Eagles fans up here, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? And specifically, I'm thinking one person specifically and her mother, Megan Moynihan and her mother. They play trivia periodically with me, and they're Eagles fans because they like the color. That's what they chose. That was going to be their team to root for.
When I was younger, it was always like, oh, this color's cool.
It's okay. Like, I don't give anybody any shit. That's fine. You know, it's all good. It's all
good. You, man. Yeah. Here's my thing in life. Do you just do it respectfully? Just do it. Like when I'm playing sports, I can recognize when somebody is better than me or whatever. But if you're a cocky, arrogant son of a bitch, fuck you. But if you have respect, I'm going to tell you, great play, good job, nice hit. Like, exactly. I will be respectful if you're respectful. If you're not, I am immediately like, all right, fuck you. Watch this.
There were more people who could do this at the boat launch at fishing.
I was just going to say that too. Right? Oh my God, man.
So where are you with competitive fishing? Like how do you fit in? Like what's your relationship?
Soraya wants me to get into it. And honestly, if we're doing this 4-year plan, I think I have to enter some tournaments. Yep. I think I just have to this year. I'm definitely doing your scavenger hunt.
Mm-hmm. That's a great place to like get your feet wet. You know?
Yeah. I watched so many people do it. Like I mean, I've been watching Greg Blanchard forever, and like he's one of the top guys. And Christine Fisher, like
she's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, she is amazing. And like, here's the only thing with me is like, I just don't know how that'll affect my mental because I am such an anxious person. Like I am a competitor, but at the same time, I do this because I absolutely love it. So like, I can see myself entering a few tournaments and doing it for fun also. But like, I just don't know if I'm a long-term, like kind of competitive, like if I could really dive into it or because I love doing so many things and like different species and all that, if it's right for me. But I think this year, with the new rig, at least one. I'm at least going to enter into one tournament with the kayak this year.
I think the thing is that like when it comes to tournament fishing, what I think I've learned is that there really is a different stage for anybody who wants to be involved, and that spectrum can go from you being in a position like me where I don't consider myself a competitive angler at all.
Right.
However, that said, like I 100% want to enter the Susquehanna leg of the kayak adventure series just for the experience primarily. You know what I mean? And also, you know, do I want to add pressure to the fact that I'm fishing a brand new body of water with like legendary status of what it is? Maybe that's a stupid idea, but I'm down to give it a shot. I've done one in-person tournament. No, I've done a couple of in-person tournaments, single day. They're fun. I don't really put a whole lot of stock into them. When, you know, you're doing like the regional and national level stuff, I feel like that's a little bit beyond my scope of where I want to be, because at that point, like it's a whole other ball game. In a lot of ways, you got to pay to play, because if you want to, like, if you're just doing it knowing that, like, hey, I'm just throwing money away to go do this, I'd rather just take the trip. I'd rather take that money, would sink into it and everything else, and just make it a trip, or go with a guide or something like that for the experience, and then make it a regular trip routinely or something, just to have that enjoyment. I do love the tournament camaraderie, though. I think that's in the right setting is a good thing. I think that eventually there becomes a point where, you know, it can get a little bit cutthroat, and like it becomes like an us versus them type situation,
right?
Where like, and I don't like that kind of shit when it gets cliquey necessarily. But I think that, you know, if you find like a local trail that's near you and you do a couple of tournaments, cool. You know, maybe you don't have to do every single one. Who gives a shit about the AOI? You know what I mean?
Right.
Go and do it for the sake of doing it. The beauty about like the scavenger hunt is that whether it's your first time out or or you're a seasoned angler, like you've got a good reason to go and enter these things because number one, if you're a seasoned angler, this is the easiest explanation. Let's say you catch that off species as bycatch. Well, now you're at least entered in a tournament where there's some value there. So, take the minute and measure that fish and then enter it. And hey, maybe that fish will then work toward getting you another check that month.
Yeah, dude.
If you're not a seasoned angler and you're just like, I kind of want to dabble a little bit, it's nice because number one, size of your fish individually does not really matter. The overall goal, to tell you the truth, is really diversity of species of your stringer. So the more individual species that you can target, the better you are. The size of the fish only really comes into play when we're doing tiebreakers. When we have to do that, we're like, okay, so this is a better stringer here. They won here, so they're going to get that point. They're going to get this point here. We can go and look at it that way. The other thing is that, we're pretty light on a lot of the rules here, like in comparison. Like I know Sean has a reputation as being kind of a hard ass when it comes to the rules.
He does.
But really, the thing is, and this is why this is for beginners, is because it's where we're not lax on the rules that are set. So like you got to take the appropriate pictures. You got to do such and such. You got to do this. But like this year, we're getting rid of the open mouth policy. You know what I mean? Because it's like, because the size of the fish doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? It really doesn't. It's more about getting that species on the board and learning and going from there. Now, on the bass tournaments that we're going to do, because we're going to do like the Midsummer Mayhem last year, different animal. Those rules are going to more strict. But like I remember having conversations with Sean and I was like, look, dude, I don't want people thinking they have to measure a bowfin, a pike, or a pickerel or a muskie and have the mouth closed. Like if they want to use a fish grip, I want them to use that fish grip.
I'm a fish grip girl through and through.
I mean, if it's a toothy beast like that, 100%, I'm using a fish grip because I'm not looking to fuck around. I want to continue fishing, I
don't want to ruin my day.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't mess around with teeth. If I don't have to, I'm not going to. So I'm like, I want people to have that luxury there, So it really is like, we're not going to dock you any points for like open mouths and shit like that. It's a good practice to get into, and it might cost you if you have a fish enter that's got an open mouth. Like then when we're looking at it, it might cost you some points, but like you're not going to get disqualified. Your catches aren't going to get disqualified for that. You'll get your point. It's just an ideal situation for anybody who's just trying to get into it, and it's cheap. And the beauty of it is, I feel like a lot of people always look at like, what's the return on investment here? Like how many people are competing? What do the payouts look like? All that stuff. Obviously, the more people we have entering, not only the bigger the payouts, but the more payouts there are, because every time we break 10 anglers, we add an additional payout. So it's pretty awesome. What's really cool is that we have raffle prizes for the people that don't land in the money. So if you don't land in the money with your points for, whatever it might be, you still have an opportunity to win some awesome raffle prizes. We've got gear. We've worked with Naqua in the past and Fresh Baits. We've worked with Abay Lure Lab. We've worked with Klondike Custom Creations. And this year, we're adding NACO to the mix. And NACO's doing something on top of just giving us a raffle prize for each month. We're doing an exclusive 20% off site-wide discount with a promo code for folks that enter the tournament. So like if you're looking to gear up and you're like, it's save 20% with NACO. NACO makes some really great products. I've used some of their tungsten in the past. I have not fooled around with their rods or reels, but they have a BFS rod that people love. The Kestrel. They have a new one called the Cormorant, which sounds like it's freaking amazing. It's just absolutely wild. So I think, dude, you should 100% do it. I mean, you need a smartphone with the Fishing Chaos app, and you need a catch board. That's it.
Doing it. Yeah, the catch board. That's the only thing that I'm like, do I want the fucking metal one or do I want the plastic one?
I'm gonna give you my 2 cents. I have
please.
Get the carbonite board. Get the longer carbonite board.
Okay.
And the reason is there's 2 things. I bought my metal board because it matches my truck. And it was too good of a deal to turn down. It was another angler getting out of the tournament scene, and he was selling it for a song. And I was like, you know what? I'm buying that, and that's going to stay on my kayak. That board is too heavy to lug around for a bank fishing trip or anything like that. It's too much of a pain in the ass. But the Carbonite board has two things going for it that are amazing. Number one is the fact that it's super light. Get the longer one, you won't even notice the difference. It's cool.
Right.
You get into like a good pike or a huge pickerel, and you want to be able to get all those inches versus carrying a tape measure to do the modified measurement and everything else. You can do that
shit.
But it's more of a challenge. And I would say, the longer board. The other thing, and I only learned this last month. It was in the dead of summer. I have a picture of an absolute tank on my board, but the sun is glaring right overhead, shining on the reflective surface of my board, and you can't read the numbers. So that fish got DQ'd. I DQ'd it myself. I was like, I don't know. Like, I was there. I know the length, but I'm like, this doesn't look good, but we're just going to go ahead and can it. That Carbonite board has a surface that's more matte, and it doesn't reflect the sun like the metal boards do.
Okay. Done deal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Save some money.
Yeah.
Too.
Right. Dude, $70. I was like, what? I can't. It's crazy. But no, the multi-species scavenger hunt speaks to me so much because I am that multi-species angler, and because like I just love chasing them all. And like I already have 2 lakes that I know in the early spring it's like all of the panfish and pickerel and largemouth. Like I'm just gonna just be hitting them. And then, oh my God, snakehead, bowfin. Like we don't have, not bowfin, but snakehead here.
You guys have bowfin down there.
We do, but I haven't caught one here.
Yeah,
they're hard to find here. But the snakehead in the spring, freaking
snakehead is unbelievable. I would love. In fact, actually, in April, I might come down and just fish for snakehead.
Do it! Oh my God, that should be your trip. Fuck that! I've got the perfect lake.
Yeah,
never.
I've never caught a snakehead.
Oh my God, we were.
I fished in Crumpton, Maryland, and what sucked was there was a snakehead tournament and a largemouth tournament the day before we went. Then overnight there was a huge low pressure system that came through, big storm, and it just turned all those fish off. But it was ridiculous. Dude. The water was like and on my sonar multiple times I was like, I have a feeling that's a big snakehead that just went underneath.
Right. Dude, Soraya, we did damage on chatterbaits last year. That's when she also caught her personal best largemouth. Was the same trip. I'm trying to find it right now. But like the snakehead was, I don't even think we were able to get it on a scale because those things are vicious as hell.
Have you done a catch and cook with a snakehead?
No, that's this year. That's happening this year. It has to, because I've heard so many good things about them, like as table fare.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like the bigger they are, the more mercury. So be careful with that. But you know,
I've always
slot limit is nice.
Yeah, I've always been a catch and release person.
Yeah.
And every time you talk to somebody, they're just like, "What is wrong?" I can't find the picture. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll send it to you later. They're like, "What is wrong with you? Catch it, need it." I was like, "Well, first of all, we live in South Jersey. This water ain't clean. And second of all, I'm not a huge fish fan. Like so it's like, no, like let them and I just respect those. I just respect them all. But this year we're gonna do more catching and cooking. Soraya's like, we can save money and and I'm like, yes, but also like
be careful.
I can also I can make content out of it, but also let's be smart about it and let's be this about it.
I don't want to get lead poisoning because of eating. Yeah,
you should come down and fish with it in the spring. Frickin' done deal. Finally, we got it locked in.
You know what?
Locked and loaded. What?
I'm doing a send to North Carolina in early March. Is it early March? I double check my dates. I'm actually fishing with the Jabberhammer from Bass and Brews.
Okay.
And, yeah, it's gonna be fun. And we're gonna fish Lake Jordan and possibly Sharon Harris. I'm not 100% sure.
Alrighty.
Should be a blast, but I'm gonna be coming back right through your area.
Come through, man. Hit me up.
So even if it's like a bank send, and then we'll plan a proper one with a whole camp out and the whole nine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That would be awesome.
Fuck, I'll take my dad's boat if we had to. Shit. If you didn't have, I'll take the G3 out. Fuck it. I have my license. I can do it.
I love it. Let's do it. We'll send it seaworthy.
Seriously, yes. And let's do it.
That would be great. Like, we're not going to be in the tournament at that point, like, because it's April. So
that's all right.
Tournament schedule goes April through October every single month. Okay. And that's what's unique about this year is that every single month in previous years, what we would do is we'd alternate. We would do our tournament and then we would do what was the Chronic Trips tournament. Chronic Trips was like this, like outdoor adventure cannabis infused organization. Like they do like geo-tracking trips and like, whitewater rafting and shit like that.
Yeah.
Trips and like cool shit like that. And during the pandemic, they were like, well, let's get into the online fishing scene. So they did, and Sean kind of like filled that role of being the tournament director. And since then, interest has kind of dropped off. And the reason is, I think, because they include saltwater.
Yeah, it's tough to beat those sharks and shit.
It's nationwide. And if you get somebody who's in like Minnesota and they're like, I can't catch a fucking striper, you know what I mean? Yep. Or a tuna, like they're just not here. I'm not going to get to the coast to go do this. So it was a little bit of a challenge. Plus it was more of it wasn't necessarily about the diversity. It did get down to the size of the fish that you were catching. That factored in. So we were like, we saw, Chronic Trips was doing less and less and less with it. So we're like, you know what? We're getting like double or triple the amount of people entering in the Jigs and Bigs ones. Let's do this every single month. Like, let's just shift gears and we'll do this and keep things a little bit more clean. And that's what's happening this year with the new rules. The new rules took effect last September and October, and it worked out great. So it's awesome. Like, you'll get, 7, I think? April, May, June, July, August, September, and October. Yeah, 7 months that you can enter and win cash, win amazing prizes, save some money. I'm going to be reaching out to other companies, too, to try to get them exclusive offers. They're like, hey, people are joining here. Let's give them some kind of, because like with our partners, it makes sense. Like our partners, they're offering those discounts like to everybody. Like you can get your Omnia discount. You can get your Dark Horse Tackle discount. Like all that stuff makes sense. So raffle prizes from them, that makes sense. But it's the companies that aren't partners when they come in and they're just like, let's do an exclusive promo code or something just for these folks to get them involved with it. It's awesome. It's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Me too.
It's like it's right up my alley. For real. I think we should wrap up. We were going for a while, man. Holy shit. I might have to split this up into 2-parters. But no, for real. Thank you for being here.
When you have the host of Jigs and Bigs on, you get a Jigs and Bigs sized episode.
But me and you could just talk. I can talk. And then I can listen also. And I'm just sitting here like I had a great
conversation.
Thank you.
I'd like to have you and Soraya join Becca and I camping sometime.
Please. Oh my God, please.
Blast.
Becca can speak Portuguese, right? Or at least her family speaks Portuguese, right?
I believe her mom does. I don't think
her mom. Okay. Because I was telling Soraya like about her and all this stuff, and Soraya was like, "Oh,
she's Portuguese." Whatever. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then we were watching her videos the other day. Please, oh my God, yes. I'm
gonna throw that out there and see what gets. It's so tough with like the camping stuff because you don't want to have too many people in these like untouched areas, but also at the same time, like Becca introduced me to this tool to use for like camping resources called Hip Camp. And
I've never heard of
not a sexy thing for the overlanding community at all. Not at all. But like you'll find like somebody who has a lot of property. So that could be somebody who has a farm. That's what we did in Vermont. There was a guy who had a farm. So he made a few campsites on his property. You might find like a winery, like a vineyard. That's got stuff, and they're just like, so we've got some campsites in this area. Most of them are generally pretty primitive, but you can roll in and you can stay there relatively cheap. I camped with one at Becca. I camped at one with Becca and our dogs in October in upstate New York, and it was beautiful. It was awesome, and we had like private ponds like on either side of where we're camping. It was great. So
let's do it. Yeah, it sounds like Boondockers Welcome, which is basically for like the people with the RV and all. Yep. Sweet. No, throw it out there, please. I would love to like meet her, get go camping, do whatever. Just get a trip together. It doesn't even have to be like a crazy collab, but for real, I've respected her forever. Like for real. There's not enough women doing what we want to do, and I understand why. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck, man, gotta get out there.
But absolutely.
Gotta get out there. But dude, put it in the ether. It's gonna happen. It's going to happen. Plus, I'm gonna be here for the next 4 years.
There you go. You got 4 years to put it together.
Got 4 fucking years. Let's do it. Bobby, thank you so much. Honestly.
Thank you.
For real.
I appreciate it.
You're a friend. I called you last time when I was thanking you. You're a friend now. Like for real. You're one of my guys. Yeah, we talk every day. There's some people that I live 5 minutes from that I don't do as much as I talk to you. Right? No, but it's an honor. Next time we're gonna have to really dive into like some survival stuff because
hell yeah.
you're into it, and I'm into it too.
I'm into it. I don't know that I can actually hack it, but
that's okay.
I like to at least try to be prepared.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I want to like go in the woods with like a fanny pack and like do a 48-hour trip.
Yep.
Like tomorrow, but it's so fucking cold out there.
Oh yeah, dude.
But it is always a pleasure, bro, talking to you for real. Like, honestly, you're the man.
I love it. Thank you, Janelle. You're the best.
Of course. Tell people where they can find you and like how they can contact you and all that good stuff. Come on, just do it.
You guys can find me. Jigs and Bigs is available on every single major podcasting platform. So if you use Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, we're on Pocket Casts, we're on Amazon, we're on iHeartMedia, like all of these things. If you search Jigs and Bigs, you're going to find our show. Be prepared, though. Our show is not safe for work, and we have hearts of gold, but mouths of truckers.
Yes, sir.
Social media, you can find everything is at Jigs and Bigs. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We are also on Facebook. We actually have more followers on Facebook than anywhere else. If you find our Facebook page, we're at like 35K over there, which is kind of insane. It just sort of happened last summer. So follow us on Facebook. Check that out. If you're interested in being a jig head, and what a jig head gets you is a couple of things. First off, you get live stream access as a jig head exclusive. So you get an exclusive private link to YouTube to be able to watch the production of every single show and engage with us as it happens. Regular listeners don't get that opportunity, so they don't get kind of brought into the show and everything else. You also get access to lots of partners will give us additional discounts. So like jig heads get an exclusive Dark Horse Tackle discount right there. I think we've got one that's for eBay Lure as well. They get an additional one. And then some of our past like old partners we've worked with for a long time, like Torej, those promo codes still work. So you guys can go way back in there. And I think there's even a Hookset Hoodlums one hiding back there, I think.
I need to use that one.
Yeah, I think buried. Don't quote me. If it doesn't work, use the code Delirious. Okay. Yeah. Use the code Delirious. Delirious is my homeboy, Delirious Angler. He's a good dude.
Sweet.
But I mean, there's all that kind of stuff. But you can join and become a jig head for $5 a month. That money goes directly to help like fund the show. Because the mechanics of podcasting, like, what's funny, Janelle? It was only like 4 months ago, maybe, where I stopped paying out of pocket to run the podcast.
Wow.
It took that long.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot of money, but you know what I mean? It's like, holy shit. But I was like, wow, this is nice. So yeah, go ahead, check it out. I hope you enjoy it. And of course, on Fishing Chaos, the multi-species tournament series, the 2024 season is not uploaded yet. But you can search at any time, Jigs and Bigs, and it will pop up and show you the next one that we've got loaded up. So, registration will open in mid-March.
I'm ready. I am so ready and so pumped, dude.
I love it.
For real. Well, all the success and happiness and good vibes sent to you always. I appreciate it so much that you were here, man. Like I said, I'm gonna call you Papa Podcast now because you're like my podcast pop. So
I love that.
Yeah. You guys need to definitely go check them out. Be a jig head, be a supporter, join the scavenger hunt, do all of the awesome things. Guys, seriously, we love the outdoors. We love everything about it.
Hell yeah,
we could have sat here for longer and talked, but sometimes you gotta eat.
I'm looking at the timer. I'm like, it's a good thing I deleted all that shit earlier because we have almost 16 hours of content.
So sorry. It will be a definitely 2-part episode. I'll throw in some things in there.
I love it.
I appreciate that. All right, guys. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Adventures Audio Podcast. I will see you guys on the next adventure.